Hey there, everybody. How's it going? Nice to see you again. So I'm just going to put this out there right up front. Contrary to what the title of this video is, I may be talking a little bit about gear. So, you know, if you got here by mistake because of the title, and I just wanted to give you a warning so you don't have to type in the comments, I hate gear videos. Why are you YouTubers talking about gear all the time? Yeah. So, although when you leave a comment, it helps the algorithm. So never mind. Go ahead. Complain all you want. All right. So the reason why I'm talking about gear all the time these days is because I'm in the midst of an epiphany of the OM systems gear. The Sony gear just, I mean, it's if I had to shoot with Sony gear, I would. It's not terrible, but it's not my favorite. Okay. The problem is for the money you're paying, I see no discernible increase in quality of anything that I'm doing. And that's over the Fujis and over the OM system gear. So what's the point? And I'm not that crazy about shooting with the cameras. They feel very unfinished to me. They're getting better every time. Maybe by the 7th or 8th, you know, the A7R8 might be there, but okay. So to that end, so when I decided that I needed to shed the weight and I went OM systems back in, was it end of January, beginning of February, last month before, I got rid of the Sony gear right away, but I have not gotten rid of the Fuji gear because I'm holding on to it just in case, although it's not looking good for Fuji. So every once in a while I pull it out and take a look at it and try to do something with it to see how difficult or easy it is in comparison to the OM gear. And it's interesting. Let me qualify this by saying I've been using digital cameras since about 2005 for the bulk of my professional work. So it's not like I don't know how digital cameras work, okay? And I've used Nikon, Canon, Sony, Fuji, and OM systems and Lumix over the course of the past 21 years. And the last time I used OM was, I think the Olympus EM1 Mark II. Okay, and an EM5 Mark II, and I still have an EM10 Mark II. Okay, I've been using the Fuji camera since 2013, and I've had various X Pros. I've had all the X Pros. I've had the XT2, I believe, the XT3, the XT4, the XT5. All right. So the reason why I'm mentioning all this is like, I'm not new to any of this stuff. Okay, I have some experience with it. I've used the Fujis a lot. Okay, it's been my main camera system since about 2018, 2019. I've tried other things, but I always came back to the Fujis because I liked the handling and the image quality, and it hit the right spot for me in terms of quality, size, weight, etc. The OM system cameras are kind of new to me. I haven't used them that much, but after you know, spending the past month or two getting used to these things, I'm finding. So here's the bottom line. I take an OM camera, whether it be, right now I have the OM5 Mark II, I have the OM3, and I have the OM1 Mark II, and I take an OM camera and I want to do something. I have a video example I'll tell you about in a second, but I want to do something, whatever it is. And the OM camera just, you know, just standard normal photography or video. Just make a few settings. It's really easy to set. There's no frustration. You got the super control. As a matter of fact, there may be too many places to set everything. because you kind of get into a rhythm and you got to kind of learn, like there's so many places to set stuff, the same things. It's infinitely customizable. That's not a problem. That's a good thing because you can always just set stuff. It's just, everything just works. It gets out of your way. You can just use it. You can just shoot. And then above and beyond that, you've got these crazy computational modes, which seem and feel like gimmicks because honestly, in other camera systems, most of those fancy things just don't even work. And, but with this, you try the computational mode or the IBIS or the handheld long exposure, handheld high res stuff. It actually works. It's like no big deal. It gets out of your way. It's not a problem. It actually works. Okay, so I was saying to myself, if I want to use the X-T5 for video, I mean, love it or hate it, if you're a hybrid shooter, that's the screen you need. And OM Systems, all their cameras have this screen. So love it or hate it, this is the most practical screen for a hybrid shooter. It's not optimized for photo, but it's optimized, but it's optimized for video, and it can do both, photo and video at all angles. Okay, on the X-T3, this is optimized for photo. Okay, and it's really cool. It does vertical too, right? That's great. But it doesn't, it's actually detrimental for solo video content creation. All right, and that's my specific use case, so that's why it's important to me. Please make the comments. The algorithm loves it. Oh, but I never shoot video. I wish video camera never been in this. Great, leave the comment. For me, that doesn't work so well for me for hybrid. And what's a shame is the X-T5 is a great video camera. There's a lot of features in there, okay? As a matter of fact, there's probably more features in here, more choices for video and more custom, you can do different stuff than you can with any of the OM cameras. That doesn't mean the OM cameras are worse. The OM cameras actually work better because the autofocus is confidently reliable. The Fuji autofocus is, it is what it is. and so that's another thing. With the OM cameras, I've been kind of A/Bing them and testing them, and the Fuji will lock focus and be off. And I'm not even talking about wide-angle lenses. This isn't a bash on Fuji. There's many people out there doing lots of great Fuji work, and they're making it work, and I made it work for years, and that's great. The only point that I'm trying to make here is after using the OM cameras and using the Fuji cameras, because Fuji hasn't fleshed out things that they should have fixed 10 years ago after they launched the first Fuji camera, it's the same problems have been around for 10 years. And they just keep kicking the can down the road, and every new camera that comes out doesn't fix the problems. Pal2 Tech just a month ago came out with a video where he was like, what's the problem with Fuji? And Fuji got all upset, and they met with him for an hour and heard all the complaints. Really? Like, people have been complaining about the same stuff with Fuji for the past 12 years. And it's nice of them to acknowledge that and not just ignore him, but like, you guys, don't pretend this is the first, that they weren't, but don't pretend this is the first time you're ever hearing about this. Oh, and we're going to definitely take it under advisement. I mean, geez, get it together, will you? So using the OM system cameras, using Fuji cameras, the Fuji cameras, you go to use them and they don't quite even work in normal modes. The apertures step in video. Been doing that since the XT1, since the X Pro 1. The apertures used to chatter in the X Pro 1. That was the first impressions people had of the X system. And here we are, 2026, the apertures still step. So I said to myself, okay, with the OM3 in particular, I can use the custom settings on the dial in one of the ones that I had preset, like this office setting, and everything's right there. It's push the button, off I go, okay? Not so much with the OM5 Mark II and the OM1 Mark II. They still haven't quite sorted that out yet. It's still not bad. Like I can set a few, I have to change a few settings and I'm away. So I said to myself, you know, the XT5 for video, even though it has all these dials on top, when I switch between stills and movie, they're separated and the custom functions are very powerful. But maybe there's a setting in the XT5, movie optimized control. And what that does is takes what it should do, takes the control away from the top dials and the aperture ring and assigns them to these dials here. And the cool thing about making them an electronic dial like this, even though these are electronic too, but they have physical detents, is then you can pre-program in what those settings are in a custom setting, and you pull it up and bingo bango, you just push the button like you do on the OM3. Well, that doesn't really work that well because I have a custom setting set to movie optimized control, and every time I turn the camera off and on, I have to go back in and change the shutter speed back because it reverts to auto mode. That's and if that was the only problem, like, yeah, the XT5 would be great, but again, there, you know, I have a list of complaints of things that frustrations. I'm not the only one, okay? The Fuji system is great, but frustrating to use when you use something else that's better in terms of user interface. And that's what I'm on about here. And so I'm just holding this one up because this is the one that happens to be out. But so there is that. And that's my finding. So the bottom line comes down to, in terms of image quality, there is nothing in it. With the DxO XD Prime noise reduction, I can shoot 12,800 and it looks like 400. I'm better than 400. I mean, there's no smearing of details. It's sharp. There's nothing in it. Okay. And so the lenses are tiny, it's lightweight. I will say one thing, however. This, that eye cup on the back of the OM3 and the OM5 Mark II is called an EP15. And I wish I didn't have to know that, but I have to know that because I've already lost the eye cup to the back of the OM5 Mark II. This is the one off of the EM10 Mark II from 10 years ago. It's the same eye cup. So I took it off to put it on my OM5. That's great. And I ordered some aftermarket ones, which the quality is supposed to be mixed on those. These are about 30 bucks a piece. Special order from Adorama for 15. I might pick up a few of those because it's the same eyepiece on the OM3 and the OM5 Mark II. The OM1 Mark II has a different eyepiece. But I have a feeling that those are going to be a problem. We'll see. Now, I'm just going to be more careful with it. It may be here in the office somewhere. If I lost it out on the road somewhere, it's gone. But I didn't notice it was missing until this morning. So I'm going to look or keep my eye out for it, and we'll see what happens. But if you have an EP15 eyepiece on your OM camera, keep an eye on it. Just be careful it doesn't pop off. So other than that, yeah, I got, going back to the gear videos versus any other kind of videos, I'm headed out on a trip soon here, and I'm going to come back, I'm going to make the videos, and 300 people are going to watch them in a year, and nobody's going to care. And I make this video, and people are going to watch the, 8,000 views in 2 days. So whatever, maybe. I mean, that's one of my other gear videos did that, so go figure. So there it is. Again, I'd show you examples, image quality, but there's no point. There's no point. The Micro Four Thirds OM system, 20 megapixel sensor camera can make 20 by 30 inch fine art quality prints just like every other digital camera, APS-C or full frame. And it's amazing how few megapixels you really need. I think what people have lost sight of is that 15 megapixels, 16 megapixels, 20 megapixels, that's a lot of megapixels. Okay, for 10 years, everybody was shooting 12 megapixel cameras professionally and cropping, and they didn't have a problem. So it's amazing. Once you start using this stuff, you start realizing, like, you don't need 40 megapixels. You don't need 60 megapixels. You really don't need it. You can shoot 20 megapixels and still crop half the thing away and still have a usable image. I mean, a nice image. So unless you've tried it, you don't know. And I have, and here we are. I think the software and everything has just gotten so much better. The demosaicing algorithms and everything else, like DxO PhotoLab 9 is really just fantastic. It works great for Fuji files. It works great for every camera you can throw in there, which I can't say about Adobe. Unless you're using Nikon, Canon, or Sony, Adobe doesn't give a crap about you. So there is that. All right. Patreon's doing awesome. Just sent out the print packs to the collector tier members. I want to do some more videos over there on Patreon for the student of the photographic arts members, because that's important. I haven't forgotten about you guys. Just so much to do, and there it is. That's Patreon. And if you like me talking here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, but please subscribe. Thanks so much. We'll see you out there. Have a great one, and we'll see what we see when we get out there. All right, bye.